what's happening, guys. I'll be right with you. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? I told you a lot was going to happen between the early show and the night show, and I wasn't wrong. In one of the darker moments in this country since Donald Trump undertook not only wars against other countries, but also a war on his own country by sending in the military and ICE and DHS into different cities to rip people out of their homes, to harass and to treat violently different segments of the population. One of the more crazy moments, one of the more blatant moments, of course, everybody's talking about, as happened today, was the shooting that did take place in Minneapolis. Let me bring in the chat here. I'll say hi to the chat before we get into it. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Obviously, we'll be getting into obviously what happened, the reaction to it, the propaganda and the lies that came immediately after from both Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, so many things that we have to get into as far as, I think Kristi Noem actually spoke twice today. So we have both of those, and we can tell how it's kind of switched her rhetoric. We also have Jacob Frey, the Minneapolis mayor, speaking, and he had some powerful words, which I'm sure you've been listening to or have at least heard to some extent already, but we'll be covering that. We'll be talking about the protest that resulted in it, some of the, again, reaction from some of the media figures that we normally dive into from them. And then we also have some video footage to kind of corroborate some of the reckless behavior from not only ICE, but, all of the forces that Donald Trump has seemingly unleashed on his own fucking countrymen and women. But how's everybody doing, first and foremost? Welcome, chat. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you very much. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Show everybody that we're live. Share the stream out. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing. What's up, Soulcraft? What's up, Jen? How are you? What's going on, Eddie? What's up, Mary? What's up, Reggae? Yakov, how are you? What's up, Linda? Wes, how are you? What's up, Simon? Ginger's mom, good to see you. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Like I said, please make sure you're hitting the respective buttons, whether it's a thumbs up or a like or whatever they want to call it on that platform. Making sure you're hitting it, please. That would be a long way in helping the channel. So as everybody's showing up, let me just see if we can get into, again, some of what you've obviously been hearing about and talking about and discussing all day today. Let me throw this on the screen because I want to take a look at a few different angles of this, if I may. And I know, a lot of people, let me see if I can get this background out of the way. My apologies for that. Let's see, that one will work. How's that one? All right, yeah, we'll keep it like this. Or what's this? How's that one? Like that? Yeah, we'll keep it like that. But there's multiple different angles here, and there are so many different aspects of this that point to incompetence, not well-trained officers, people that are just acting on frustration, people that should have recognized the circumstance and recognized what was at stake and what wasn't at stake. And that is well before the gun was even pulled out of a holster. That's well before even, we can debate whether or not he was in front of the vehicle or beside the vehicle. Not in my case, like it's debatable, in my opinion, at this point. I think it's pretty clear as to what should have happened and what shouldn't have happened in this case. But yes, we're going to be taking a look at the angles. We're going to be showing it as everybody else has seen it. We'll be going over some of, like I said, the reactions, some of my reactions, some of my opinions. And in this, my opinion is they should arrest the guy immediately, abolish ICE immediately. I don't care if it is something that we're going to need that needs to be fucking totally dismantled. It needs to be totally revamped. The people in it need to be totally fucking shelved and put to different tasks or whatever the fuck, or held accountable for whatever crimes they're responsible for, under this Trump regime. But this is just ridiculous nonsense, bullshit, clear-cut murder in broad daylight by the Gestapo force in masks, right? Just going out and doing as they choose under the direction, under the leadership, at the behest of Donald Trump. I mean, don't forget, Donald Trump told these people and gave them permission to be violent, right? What was it, like the you spit, we hit, right? It was something, I think he said it like, yeah, it was right here, right?
When they spit at people, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit.
Okay, and it goes on. That's just one example that we can point to of Donald Trump's rhetoric and how he's kind of given tacit permission to ICE to act in any way they see fit. It doesn't matter what they do, how they act, right? They're going to get away with it. They won't be reprimanded. It's actually like, they'll probably be bumped up in the chain. They might even get a raise, knowing that the white supremacist kind of rhetoric, the white supremacist, imagery and graphics that they've been using to try to, recruit different people into these organizations. This is now what we're seeing. This is now the result of it is careless action. People that were actively frustrated because this woman was, allegedly impeding their progress and impeding their mission throughout the day. And what did they do? They put themselves in a position and drew their weapon and shot the lady in the face through the fucking windshield and killed her on the spot. So again, I should probably give everybody the warning where viewer discretion is advised. Absolutely. We're going to be looking at different aspects. You're not going to see any of the gruesome, bloody bits or anything like that. So don't worry about it. This is just, again, the footage that everybody has probably already seen throughout social media during the day. And then we'll be going over some of the reactions. So let me just dive into a couple of the different angles and then we'll kind of talk about it and see how this could have been prevented very fucking easily. In so many different ways. So there's about 10 to 12 different ways that this could have been avoided right off the jump. So let's get into this. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. Let's talk about it.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
What the fuck?
All right, so that's one angle. That's one angle that people were looking at. Here's the main angle I think people have seen so far, so we'll take a look at this one as well. Let me throw this on the screen. Here's kind of the main angle I'd say that people have been watching. I'll get out of the way so you can see full and clear.
No! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
All right, so that's the second angle that, well, not the second angle, but that's the angle that most people have probably seen the most, I would assume. But even in this angle, right? I mean, what's something that we can determine right off the bat? What's something we can determine right off the bat? And a lot of stuff I wrote down, right? So allegedly, this woman I seen it reported that she was a legal observer. She had been following the ICE agents around, allegedly. I'll keep, putting that in until everything is confirmed, outright, I would say. So just to be on the safe side, allegedly, according to some reporting, she had been following the ICE agents and doing her best to try to impede their progress. And God bless her for trying to do that. But that goes to show that these ICE agents should be familiar with her actions, right? They should be familiar with her intent if that was the case. And they should know that her intent that day is to obstruct their progress and not to harm them physically, not to cause them bodily harm or injury or to fucking kill them or anything like that. So again, if this is one of multiple interactions that they had, allegedly with this woman, then they should know her intent. They should know that all they have to do is walk up to this vehicle and say, "Excuse me, ma'am, could you do me a favor and just move it along?" Right? We're trying to do our job. Whatever they have to say. Can you just, she's clearly, as soon as they're walking up, she puts it in reverse. So she's more than willing to get out of the way. So why the hell would you then put yourself, again, in front of a vehicle? Number two is sometimes you're close enough to a fucking vehicle where it's very easy for you to get the fuck out of the way before that vehicle could pick up any steam, right? Or accelerate to an extent where it would hurt you. And especially where this guy is fucking standing to the very fucking front. It's been debated, or it's trying to be debated by the right on whether or not he's in front or behind. But there's been a lot of still shots going around where clearly this guy's pulling the trigger from the side of the fucking vehicle. I even put out a video where I stopped before any shots were fired. And you can clearly see that 4 pairs of fucking feet, 4 feet are on the side of the fucking vehicle before any shots are fucking fired, right? Not to mention, there's zero reason for that guy to have his fucking gun out of his holster. What is the justification for deadly force here? Again, if the guy's close enough where even if she was going to put that in fucking drive, right? The guy's very fucking close to the side where all he has to do is just move right out of the fucking way, right? Not to mention what we're looking at on the ground, folks. What are we looking at on the ground here? That's snow. That's ice. What can a vehicle not do a lot of the time in snow, in ice, is accelerate rapidly, right? You don't tend to fucking accelerate rapidly in snow, in icy conditions like they're having right now in Minnesota. So again, all you have to do is just fucking move yourself out of the way, but don't even put yourself in that position. How about you just go to a window and say, excuse me, ma'am, how about you just move your vehicle so we can get through here? You know, you're blocking up, whatever you want to fucking say. Again, so many different ways in which you could have avoided this entire fucking situation. Why the weapon had to come out of the holster at all, I'll never fucking know. Because as you play it, you can see where the guy is. Ready?
No!
Watch.
No!
All right, so the gun's already out. And you can see the fucking tires where she's trying to go are directly pointed down the street, right? So again, where the guy is, it's very close to him already being on the side of the fucking vehicle. Take a step to the fucking right. That's all you're going to do. Where your two buddies are on the side of the vehicle that are in absolutely no danger, that's all you have to do is go right there. That's it. Clearly, her intent is not to fucking run you down. Clearly, she's been allegedly, following you guys around. Has she made any actions like this already? Has she made any threats towards you guys? No. So what the fuck are you even putting yourself in that position for with a weapon drawn is ridiculous for her just sitting there blocking traffic, right? A law enforcement an actual cop would not go up to that situation with his weapon drawn, right? An actual cop with actual fucking training would go up and diffuse the situation and prompt the woman to just move her vehicle so that, you know, the fucking flow of traffic could continue. You don't go up there and try to rip her out of the fucking vehicle. You don't go up there and pull your fucking weapon out on her. She's not causing anybody fucking harm, right? She's not threatening anybody. You yourself put yourself in that fucking situation. Instead of going up to the window and saying, again, excuse me, ma'am, you know, my name is such and such. Can you move your fucking vehicle, please? You know, we know you're here to protest what we're doing and we admire it, but can you fucking at least move so we can get around, or at least the public traffic can get around? Any one of those things would have solved this situation, would have stopped this from fucking happening, right? And I don't care whether or not, it was never a question of whether or not this guy was going to be fucking rightfully prosecuted, because it's Pam Bondi's DOJ, it's Kash Patel's FBI, and it's Donald Trump's government. So there was never any hopes and prayers of actual justice coming from this, no matter what the fuck it says. But we can clearly see here that this situation in no way, shape, or form justified deadly fucking action, deadly response. From the get-go. They even trying to rip her out of the vehicle is an overuse of force, in my opinion. Again, why they're acting in frustration. These are people, these are untrained fucking thugs, masked Gestapo fucking thugs that can't control themselves, that are either ill-trained or haven't been properly kept up on their fucking training, have been brought in through these stupid recruiting tactics that they now fucking use. And they don't know what the fuck they're doing, because any good officer of the law would know, hey, you know what? You don't stand in the fucking next to your car on the highway, especially when it's icy and it's snowy. You know what I mean? That's a big fucking thing. That's a big no-no. There's very specific ways in which cops approach, you know, traffic stops on the highway, especially when it pertains to what the weather conditions are outside. Right? So one thing is, hey, let me not put myself in front of a fucking vehicle when it's icy and snowy, right? How about I just stand off to the side where my other fucking buddies are that everybody said was also in danger, which are clearly not in fucking danger, and let the woman just leave? I mean, what is the problem with letting this woman drive the fuck away and getting her license plate and getting her information that way, or stopping her somewhere else down the road where she's not fucking, where it's a lot easier and you're not impeding traffic and you don't have to pull out a weapon? How easy would that have been? You don't have to. I mean, what is this fucking action here? What is the necessary use of fucking deadly force that is fucking justified in this case? And again, we're going to go on to the propaganda that came out right away too, right? Let's see if I can, because it was this asshole that put this statement out. I'm sure you've fucking seen this already too, where he says he's just viewed the clip, yada, yada, yada. And then he says this woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer. Did you see that? Did you see that? I didn't see that. I didn't see anybody get run over. Based on the attached clip, it's hard to believe he's alive. From the clips that we just saw, and again, there's multiple fucking different angles, and this is the one that Donald Trump decided to post. I feel like I'm watching My Cousin Vinny. Yeah, could you see it through the fucking screen, the dirty screen, the 17 trees, and the glasses that are 4 feet thick? Why don't you give us a worse fucking angle, huh? Could you put us on the moon, maybe? Could you you couldn't have dug a ditch and put the camera in the ditch and then gave us that fucking angle of it? I mean, tell me that's not on purpose. But then he goes on to say it's hard to believe that he's alive and he's now recovering in the hospital. And again, if anybody's seen the full clips of the officers walking around after, there's not a single fucking one of them that's limping, that's hurt, that's acting hurt. Actually, there's a bunch of them that actually tried to get the fuck off the scene almost immediately, right? And there's one specific officer that people are pinpointing that was fucking right off the bat was like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here anymore, and left in like a gray Tahoe, a Suburban type of vehicle, right? But again, if you can point out anybody in that scene that was looking like they were limping or hurt in any way, shape, or form, besides the dead lady in the driver's seat of the vehicle that just got shot in the face, then I'd like to see it, because I've seen the footage and I can't see anybody, any officers, anybody that looks like they just got run over and had to be carried away and rushed to the fucking hospital. So the insane propaganda started right off the bat. And it wasn't just that, because this fucking cowboy costume bitch, she dressed up twice today and had to have 2 press conferences. This is the first one. And listen to what she says compared to what you just witnessed in those fucking clips, right? Listen to what she has to say compared to what actually happened, what you just witnessed with your own eyes.
So a couple of questions there. You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them. And those.
Did you just hear that? Did you fucking hear that? They were because of the big snow drifts in Minneapolis and Minnesota. They got stuck in the snow, and when they were stuck in the snow, she made it seem like this woman crept up on them with the fucking Uzi and started assaulting these officers. Is that reminiscent of anything that you just witnessed in those clips, or anything that you've seen today on social media or on the news coverage of this? Any part of that, right? And this is already as the videos were coming out. Like, videos were already out, and this is still how unashamedly fucking propagandistic these assholes are. They just cannot help but lie to you. They got to cover for these people. They're going to cover for ICE. They're going to cover for all these fucking agents, regardless of what they do. So prosecution was never going to be something, that determined whether or not this was a right action or a wrong action. That's just not the way. There's about 1.5 billion ways that this could have been stopped, could have been avoided. Again, there's no use of deadly force here is justified by anything that we've seen so far from any one of the camera angles, by any footage. But did it look like that woman was attacking them? Were they digging their vehicle out of like some fucking 6-foot snowdrift, and they were helpless and hopeless, and they got like ambushed? Because that's what Kristi Noem would have you believe.
Surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
And sorry, I know it's quiet. I do apologize that it's quiet, but it's not long, so you don't have to deal with too much of it anyway.
An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
Shot to protect himself and the people around him. Again, you're talking about the other 2 fucking thugs that were clearly out of harm's way on the side of the vehicle that could have had a clear conversation with the woman, or just let her drive away. How about that? Again, the infraction that she's wanted for, whether or not she's impeding fucking traffic, whether or not her car's sideways, the fucking the action that she's even wanted to for questioning, or wanted to fucking to stop and talk to for, does not in any way warrant deadly force, right? So again, it was you that wanted to rip her out of the vehicle. It was you that wanted to stop and impede her progress, and you put yourself on the very right, like you're at the driver's side headlight. Right? And you're that close, and you think she's going to go forward. What's the smart thing to do? Oh, let me just step to the right. Let me just step to the right. How about that with my other fucking colleagues that are out of harm's way? Instead, what he did is he pulled out a weapon, waited, took a step to the side, and then he shot through the fucking windshield as he was still shooting clearly to the side, as you can see, through the fucking footage and through the still shots from the footage. I mean, this isn't like a secret thing that nobody has seen the footage of, and we're just kind of guessing what the fuck happened, right? Not to mention, that situation should have never been put into action. It should have never gotten to that point anyway. But again, that wasn't the only time she spoke, because she had to make another costume change, another wardrobe change, and came out and made secondary statements as well. So let's dive into just a minute of these and see how these first statements, see how her first statements and the second statements actually line up or don't line up.
on federal officers by the ramming of vehicles. 3 of them happened here in Minneapolis. We've seen over 100 of these vehicle rammings.
Oh, hold on. Let me see. I might have to play it from the old beginning here. My bad.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I want to start out by addressing the loss of life that we saw here in Minneapolis today. Any loss of life is a tragedy, and I think all of us can agree that in this situation, it was preventable. I've spoken to the president today.
By well-trained, well-fucking equipped, and people that are supposed to be on the job, right? That are fucking, that have the background for it, and not just thrown into their positions because of their white supremacist beliefs or their love for Donald Trump or their love for fucking handguns and body armor, right? Anybody else that was a well-trained, official, professional in that position would have gotten out of that position, that situation 10 out of 10 times without a gun being drawn, without for sure somebody being fucking shot in the face and killed. But no, because they're masked thugs that have been given permission by the gnome and this dickhead standing next to her. I forget this. What's this asshole's name right here? You guys will know it in the chat. I know you'll know it in the chat, but this fucking dick fuck right here, this motherfucker, the people that have given these agents the instructions to, again, take no shit from anybody, take no prisoners type of aspect. What's his name? Yeah, Bavino. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I love how fucking up to speed and informed you guys are. It makes my day every time. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, that asshole, the name going in the chat, that's this dick fuck right here. Right, so any number of ways in which that should have absolutely been resolved, or just, again, let go. Let the lady go. Get the license plate. Catch her down the street. Whatever you have to do in order to, again, de-escalate, which is supposed to be the job of law enforcement, right? It's supposed to be the job of these people that are here to, quote unquote, serve and protect or keep the streets clean, whatever you want to say, right? You're supposed to be able to de-escalate a situation, not make it go from 0 to 1,000 in a fucking split second. And they took all the actions possible to make it go from 0 to 1,000 in a split second. So here she's going to lie again. I think she comes back with this, the snow drifts and the fucking ambush.
On the situation here on the ground, I also just got off the phone a little while ago with Governor Walz and spoke to him as well. I want to reiterate first with all of you the facts of what happened today. At 10:25 a.m. Central Time, Immigration and Customs Enforcement were carrying out lawful operations here in Minneapolis. Because of the adverse weather that Minneapolis has seen in recent snow, one of the vehicles became stuck and ensnared in the snow.
Was there any bit of that fucking road? Hold on. Let's go back to it. Is there any bit of that road, right? Any bit of this street right now that you're looking at that looks like these fucking vehicles were stuck? They're all four-wheel drive vehicles that they're driving, right? Four-wheel drive vehicles. What vehicles stuck in the snow? The pickup truck? The four-wheel drive pickup truck? Because they're not stuck in the snow. They just stopped because this woman was fucking impeding their progress, and all they had to do was go up to her and say, "Excuse me, miss, can you please move?" And again, if that didn't work, then there's other steps that you take to, again, go to another level, but still keep it de-escalatory. To not get to the point where you're drawing fucking weapons and actually discharging those weapons into the vehicle. Again, putting other bystanders at risk too. Not to mention, and again, we'll look at several different clips. I don't know if now's probably time here. Might as well fucking do it now, right? What better time than the present? Here's more, just more instances, more examples to show that they are reckless with their weapons. They're reckless with their behavior, and this isn't a one-off thing that, this guy acted the way he was supposed to act. Oh, you can't blame him. Blame her because she put it in drive. Where in that was deadly force justified? Again, she's in no way trying to go after the fucking police, and they should have no way been in that fucking position. But here's another one on your screen that you're looking at with another one of these ICE fucking pricks, these fucking Gestapo-like thugs, just pulling a weapon on people standing around.
Put the gun away! We gotta shoot people! Leave her alone! Let her go!
I think he pulls it out again, too. I think he pulls it out again.
Let him go! Let him go! Let him go! Let him go!
So I think there's even a second time on that one, but then there's this one.
Immigration news tonight, shocking scenes from a Memphis neighborhood of an ICE officer pulling a gun on a family. It happened near the Nutbush and Beauclair area yesterday.
What if somebody just got shot
in the video?
What if somebody just got shot when he just pulled that out right here?
Family. It happened
what if that weapon went off? Would it have been everybody else's fault for trying to, again, stand there and stand up for their rights and their right to protest, right? to give them a piece of their mind? Would it have been the protesters' fault and the people standing there? And they, you know, what's another fucking thing we got to talk about is them calling them rioters. Who is rioting? Did you guys see any riots on the streets in any of the footage? Again, the language from the government, the language from Trump, the language from Kristi Noem, rioters and fucking thugs and domestic terrorists. Is any of that being shown on your screen? Who more looks like a domestic terrorist on your screen right now? Would it be this action? You know, of again, just blocking a side road and some traffic for a minute and getting shot in the face? Or is it going to be, you know, these actions here of these people that are pulling out weapons, you know, like it's nothing, like this is how they've been trained to act, right? Or is it, again, should we go on because there's more too? That's not the only one.
Developing tonight, an ICE officer caught on camera getting out of the car and putting a gun at a driver and a passenger in Santa Ana. The video making waves on social media.
Tonight, we're hearing from DHS and Fullerton Police. Fox 11's Laura Diaz.
So this asshole, as you can see, just strolling around fucking traffic, just strolling around a fucking, you know, a busy intersection with his weapon drawn. So again, this isn't a one-off aspect. This isn't a one-off thing. This is how they've been trained. This is how they've been instructed to act. Act lawlessly, act ruthless, create and instill fear. They want people to not challenge their authorities. So they want to scare people into cowering, right? They want to make a point of these people. This woman, the victim, Renee Nicole Good, 37, just became, a fucking martyr, just became an example set by the Trump administration of what happens and what will continue to happen if you go against the regime, if you go against the policies of Donald Trump. This is the admission that this is the permission that he's given these forces. And this is how they're gonna get off, because their leaders want them to act like this. So they're gonna defend the actions, right? So again, whether or not it's prosecuted is not whether or not this was a right action or a wrong action. I don't think it takes much to say that this could have been avoided in about 1,400 different fucking ways from now till Sunday before a weapon was even pulled out of a fucking holster. And it's ridiculous, I believe, in my opinion, to obfuscate and to think otherwise. You know what I mean? Especially with the propaganda that we saw coming from it. And again, here's a message from the mayor. I'm sure you guys have heard the juicy bit, the spicy bit of this. But again, just to kind of further reiterate the feelings of the mayor and the people in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, I should say, in particular. I just want to play a little bit of this if you'll let me. So let's dive into this. Thank you so much. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. Again, this is Jacob Frey, the Minneapolis mayor, and he has some strong words for not only ICE, but anybody else thinking that they're going to come into his community and start shooting people and murdering them in broad daylight.
What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. As soon as it happened and we learned of the incident, we had several priorities. The first, of course, was to get the victim to the hospital and to get care as soon as possible. To the family, I'm so deeply sorry. There's nothing that I can say right now that's going to make.
And that's another huge aspect too. That's another huge aspect that we haven't even gotten into yet. You know, whether or not she was even afforded the appropriate medical treatment. You know what I mean? It looked like they sat there and they stared at her for a long time. It looked like they told everybody to get back. At one point, you can hear in the video somebody screaming, "I'm a doctor. I can help." At that point, the only person that I saw actually even approach the vehicle was somebody else that had a cell phone in their hand. But upon seeing what the scene was, they immediately turned turned around. Other than that, there was nobody around. There was nobody being allowed to, to give, like a response as far as medical responses, CPR, cover the wound, whatever treatment that could have been afforded to this woman in that moment in time. It didn't look like the ICE officers or anybody else was being afforded that opportunity or cared to even do that. I'm not saying this, the bystanders, because they were obviously upset and screaming and wanted to get over, but they weren't being allowed near the vehicle. The ICE agents were they were again fucking very fucking violent and aggressive in keeping people away from the vehicle as opposed to providing medical care. So that's another aspect I want to make sure that we touch on as well.
Or your relatives or the friends of the victim feel any better. There were, I believe, 2 Minneapolis police officers that responded and were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There were dozens, if not hundreds, of ICE and federal officers that were there at the time. Having them there was only causing more chaos. Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done. We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now. And justice is what we've all got to get.
And it's what we should see, and I very much appreciate his strong words, his strong rhetoric, his strong language towards ICE in this situation. It's exactly what's needed. It's exactly what's warranted in this situation. It's exactly how everybody should be reacting in this moment in time. Because, again, you can't walk up on teenagers on the beach throwing fucking rocks or something, you know what I mean? And then say this is basically what happened. They walked up on teenagers throwing rocks at seagulls on the beach. And when one of the rocks that was thrown at one of the seagulls came close to one of the officers opened fire on the kids and killed the kids because they were throwing rocks at the fucking seagulls. And one of the rocks came close. I mean, again, there's so many different ways in which this situation could have been approached and the way this could have been fucking de-escalated. The way that this could have been, handled differently, that didn't involve deadly force. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here? What the fuck are we talking about? Are we actually trying to justify these fucking actions? Honestly? Quite literally, the first thing they said was, get the fuck out of your car. It wasn't, hey, excuse me, ma'am, can you just move it along? Which you'd think would be the first opportunity afforded to anybody in this fucking country, right? Instead of get the fuck out of your car, right? Again, even that would be an overuse of force, in my opinion. Not even fucking getting to taking your gun out of its fucking holster. But again, why not let her go? De-escalate the situation, catch up with her later, get the license plate if you need. If you think it's that big of a deal, if you think it's that big of a threat, right? Get the license plate, figure out the information, find out the best way and tactic to make sure that nobody else in the fucking public is at harm when you do whatever you think you need to do. And again, people that recognize the different, complexities in different situations. You don't just handle every situation the same, right? Just like we were talking about in the example of police officers and law enforcement pulling people over on the highway, right? I'm sure they all have different little rules and regulations and little things and tips that they have in order to stay safe because it's a fucking danger. But again, when a person's that close, when you're on the fucking headlight, basically with your left shoulder on the headlight, you know what you have to do? It would be pretty easy to do. Would be this, or one step to the right and be like, okay, and still communicate with the woman instead of taking your fucking gun out of your holster, right? What happened to, I don't know, Taser? You know what I mean? Where did like where did the fucking the steps, the levels go? Now all of a sudden we're just right at deadly force, no matter what the fucking action, no matter what the infraction is. Good grief. Unfucking believable. And again, you can show this, if you want to, where the Department of Homeland Security is using white nationalist imagery and language to recruit new employees and arrest immigrants. Gee, I wonder why they're acting the way that they're fucking acting. It's amazing that, like, with the pardons of the January 6th, fucking rioters and the new recruitment styles and tactics of DHS and putting people in ICE and trying to recruit these fucking different scumbags from all over the country. It's kind of crazy how the shit is now we're seeing this shit happen. It's almost like you could have predicted that this would have fucking happened, right? And again, this goes on to show some of the graphics, some of the tactics being used by the Department of Homeland Security as they're recruiting posters, yada, 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 different tactics that they're using. Think about how many criminal illegals you could fit in this bad boy. Another one of their posts. Basically just doing everything they possibly can to go after a very specific crowd of the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys. They're not going to state that. They're not going to say openly that they're recruiting these people, but damn well, especially what we've seen with this fucking administration, that those are the people that they're looking for, right? These fucking, like this asshole, like this fat fucking thug prick. Huh? Like who recruited this kid and thought it was a good idea? Who recruited this kid because of fucking physical capabilities? I don't think so. I'm assuming it's because he's white. I'm assuming it's because of his beliefs. I'm assuming it's because he has some fucking love and fetish for guns and body armor. As you can see here, because he's pulling a weapon on fucking innocent people, innocent civilians standing in a crowd where he's under absolutely no fucking threat whatsoever. But I'll be goddamned if this fucking guy is going to come up to the 20th fucking story and save my ass in a fire, because he'll be dead fucking 2 stories before he fucking gets there. This fucking fat prick ain't making it nowhere. So he definitely didn't make it based on the, physical capabilities and the, physical fitness tests. I can tell you that much. So something else brought this asshole in. Something else recruited this fucking prick. I can tell you that much, right? So you go back to this, and there's different instances. The xenophobic rot at the top. Here's another one. America needs you to join ICE now. This is from August 2025 from the Homeland Security Department. Uses Uncle Sam imagery and implores would-be recruits to help secure the golden age. Okay, so again, rhetoric, little fucking terms being used, specifically directed at a group or groups that they want to attract into these agencies. So let's not fucking play dumb. Let's not act like we don't know why the people are acting like this, and that, like, when we look at Donald Trump saying when they spit we hit, and fucking slam them, and even going back as far as, remember when Donald Trump said he'd pay for the lawyer fees? When he got, where was it there? I forget where it took place, but at one of his rallies, he had somebody disrupting, and he pretty much instructed the crowd to beat the guy up. Remember that? And then he said, don't worry, I'll pay for your fucking lawyer fees. So this is nothing new. This is fucking nothing new. This is exactly what we knew was going to come of this. This is what Donald Trump wants. He wants that scare tactic in there. He wants people to be fucking, very scared of stepping up to his authoritarianism, right, to his policies. And the more of these scapegoats he can use, the more of these examples that where he knows that, again, Kristi Noem, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi will do everything in their power, and Donald Trump will put all the pressure he needs to on any judge he needs to make sure that none of these people are prosecuted. They know they're going to get away with it. They know they're going to get away with it, right? So again, this brought in a lot of protest, obviously, all throughout Minnesota, rightfully so. Here's just a quick clip to kind of show you. You're gonna try to hate us. What the fuck was that? That's not the one I clicked. Yeah, I'll click this one. Well, again, this is just one of the instances, one of the areas in which people started congregating and people started protesting, rightfully so. You can see here, as it just said on the screen, that tear gas was released in multiple places as well.
Don't let them out! Don't let them out!
Oh. Stop them!
Already, you can see in the background, you can just see the yellow smoke. I don't know if you can see through the crowd right where my mouse is. Looks like some more tear gas being displayed, and you can hear the bang from it being deployed there. Obviously, people rightfully so getting a little bit jumpy and wary when they hear the bang, considering what we just
Pardon, this is not good.
They're continuing to shoot.
But you can see a large amount of people out there to protest, a large amount of the community out there. And again, this is just one of the instances, one of the areas. There's multiple instances, multiple areas in which people congregated and started coming out to show their, to show their anger, to show their that they were out there protesting exactly what the mayor was talking about. The fact that they just shot somebody dead in broad daylight in a situation that absolutely did not warrant anywhere near the fucking reaction or the deadly force used in that action is just, it's ridiculous, right? So again, just for the sake of time, was there anything else? I think there was this one too. Here's some reaction from Jen and Pumps. Let's dive into this because this was their reaction. I think they went live, if I'm not mistaken, a little earlier to try to cover this. So what do you say we dive into a little bit of this? And then we have some news. Remember how all the Republicans were like, hey, fuck you liberals because, oh, you guys are crying and whining about the Maduro raid. Meanwhile, the Venezuelans are all celebrating and they're happy and they were using fake videos and they were using AI videos and they were using old videos and videos from soccer matches, anything but actual real Venezuelans, right? But they were trying to use that as a justification for all this. Well, that didn't last long. Did I say that wasn't going to last long? Did we tell you here that that probably wouldn't last long? Like, as happy as they were, and as much as I wasn't going to stomp on their freedom, pretty much exactly what I said word for word in the show, wasn't going to stomp on their freedom. They could be as happy as they want to be that their oppressor has left, but, beware of the fucking devil that you wish for, because sometimes the devil that you know is a lot better than the devil that you don't know, right? And it seems like the fucking devil that they didn't know is already being unleashed in Venezuela. Because now this is a Washington Post article. Fear grips Caracas as new wave of repression is unleashed in Venezuela. Isn't that strange? But we'll get into that. Let's get into this iHip video here. And again, I believe this is their kind of breaking news type of journalism here that they've started on the I've Had It podcast. And this is ICE shoots woman in cold blood and Trump gives horrid response. So let's dive into their reaction from it. I appreciate you guys. I'm Boston Brian. Hit that like on the way in. I appreciate everybody that's just joining us. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to bring you the news and my opinions. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing. Help, there's a Venmo up in the corner. You can sign up at patreon.com. There's a channel membership just underneath me, or a super chat, super sticker in the chat goes a long way. So I appreciate you guys. Ooh, fancy. They got a new fancy intro, huh?
All right, guys, we're coming live because some very alarming and devastating actions by ICE under Trump's fascist regime have taken place.
Yeah, great point, too, from Distant Galaxy here over on Twitch. And thank you to everybody on Twitch. I really do appreciate you guys. Maybe one of these days I'll even learn what a hype train means. I know it's a thing. I know we should celebrate it, but as to what it is, not even really sure at this point. But thank you to everybody on Twitch. Thank you, Distant Galaxy, for this comment where it says it was so sick for Kristi Noem to call that dead woman a terrorist without knowing all of the facts. And that you're absolutely fucking right. And what we're referencing here is this first cowboy moment where she came out again. If she didn't know all the facts, if she hadn't seen the video, and, again, I'm not trying to give her the benefit of the doubt by any stretch of the imagination, but, if she is and was playing cosplay Barbie and was out and about, whatever, not that it's fucking that difficult for anybody to send you a video on your phone. So no excuses here whatsoever. But if she wanted to make it seem like, I'll reword that differently. If she wanted to make it seem like she didn't have all the answers and didn't see the video, and wanted to, obfuscate and kind of, fucking misinformation, give misinformation and disinformation, then all she has to do is say that we haven't seen anything. We'll take a look at it. We'll have to do our further investigating before any report is put out, before any details are released, that fucking sort of thing. But that's not what happens at all. She comes right out calling people terrorists, calling them rioters, saying that they attacked the officers. She attacked the officers while they were stranded in the snow, trying to paint this like ridiculous picture of these fucking officers being ambushed with an Uzi. Was it an Uzi or was it an? No, it wasn't an Uzi. It was
Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become an expert on guns, and you'll have a group of
Well, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. So it was an MK-47, apparently, is what they want you to think that actually this woman pulled up with. Of course. And it takes 2 seconds of looking at that video to be like, okay, this is obviously a clear-cut situation in which deadly force should be the last fucking thing thought of, right? The last thing in the picture. The fucking last thing. I mean, what are we talking about? A ticket? What's the actual infraction? That's what I want to know. What's the actual infraction there if she's blocking or impeding traffic? And again, allegedly, before all of, until all of the facts come out, I will fucking make sure to say that, we can still be speculating on a lot of this. But what is the ticket? What is it? A $25 fucking citation or something? And again, that led to deadly force. If you were to call the actual public, the police in the area, it's ridiculous to think that deadly force was even remotely thought about in this situation. Never mind enacted. That's a totally different situation. But yes, Distant Galaxy, you're 100% right. Her original comments on this and the way she portrayed it was fucking horrendous, disgusting, anything but the truth. And again, but just falls right in line with everything that we know about this administration and what they plan to do and how they plan to, again, justify any of these actions and defend anybody caught in the middle of these actions. That's just what they're going to do. They're going to stick together. They're going to fucking hold their own. That way they can continue to fucking be and act as guilty as they want. And they know that at some point, somebody will probably have to save their ass too.
In Minneapolis, ICE agents have shot a protester in the face for no reason whatsoever. And then this ICE agent just walks away, doesn't see if she's okay, gets in a car and leaves. Then the president of the United States gets on his idiotic social media website.
And again, I says that this on because, and again, if I'm proven wrong on this one and more information has come out since I made this, feel free to enlighten me in the chat. I have absolutely no problem, retracting or saying that something was wrong or, updating on new information. But again, I'll throw this on the screen. Let me throw this up there. Here's one of these, right?
Okay. The woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resistant, who then drove violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. I'm sorry, I'm going to need clarification. Do you mean this guy? You mean this guy that shot the lady?
Again, just for the sake of being as clear on the reporting as humanly possible, if it's been determined that this is not the gentleman, please let me know in the chat. But as far as I've seen, been reported and talked about, this is the guy that, again, just after this crash happened, is now walking away from the scene of the crime, calls, as you'll see here in the video, calls for somebody to come pick him up, and skedaddles the fuck out of there immediately. And again, regardless if it's fucking this guy or another guy, please find an officer or an ICE agent or somebody working for the fucking federal government in this clip or in any clip that is wounded, that is limping, that is hurt, that is harmed, that is distraught and had to be rushed to the hospital like Donald Trump said. Again, even if it's not this guy, show me anywhere in one of these videos where somebody that had to be rushed to the hospital. Which one of these people had to be rushed to the hospital after almost nearly losing his life in this act? Yeah, check this out. Is it this asshole?
Lady that's walking perfectly normal, no limp, nothing to worry about, no injuries, actually wants to leave the scene of the woman he just shot to death, that one, the one that's calling.
But is that normal activity? Let me just ask, even if like I said, we have his plate number, and let me read the chat for just a second. Yeah. So people are saying that's him, that's him, that's him. Okay, I just want to make sure because I know the information changes. Sometimes what you see first reported, it doesn't turn out to be the accurate thing. So I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the most up-to-date and accurate information I can. But even if, and we'll stipulate with the chat since you guys are backing me up that this is the guy. But is it normal behavior to shoot somebody in the face, walk over to the scene of the crime, see the lady that you just shot in the face, and then call for somebody to fucking take you off the scene? Is that normal? Is that protocol? Regardless of whatever, rights that they have or they're afforded here. And again, we could look at this too, because this is something that I wanted to touch into just so we were clear, right? And this is a little bit of the legal authority on ICE. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has broad authority to arrest and remove non-citizens for immigration violations operating under the Immigration and Nationality Act, while officers using administrative warrants signed by ICE supervisors, not judges, for arrest, though a judicial warrant is generally needed for entry into a private home. Now, is a vehicle, is that your private is that considered private as well? Is that considered private, or are they allowed to just rip you out of your vehicle in that state? Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to know that the small details about that stuff, but we're trying to learn here. So for arrest, though a judicial warrant is generally needed for entry into a private home, they can initiate consensual encounters and detain individuals within reasonable suspicion of unlawful presence, and their powers differ from criminal law enforcement, allowing broader discretion in civil immigration matters. So not all matters, civil immigration matters, but they still must respect constitutional limits like needing probable cause for searches in private spaces. Okay, so just so we're clear, this nothing says that they're allowed to just fucking at will rip people out of their fucking vehicles. Again, if it has nothing to do with them being, not part of the Nationality Act or a non-citizen or committing an immigration violation. Was the arrest here from this woman, was it signed by a judge? Was it a judicial warrant? Or was it something that they just got angry at? They got frustrated at? They got very fucking, because again, allegedly, and again, I haven't seen any responses to this, so forgive me, but allegedly, it's been said and it's been reported, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, that she was kind of tailing, I'll say, to be safe. She was tailing the ICE officers during their morning routines, during their kind of pickups and what their actions that they were undertaking, right? Just from what I've seen reported, and I'll consent to that. And if you guys correct me, you'll correct me. But if that's the case, then the intent of this woman would have been very clear to these people. Not only that, but the officers probably would have been clearly frustrated, right? That this woman, again, allegedly was impeding their actions. But again, that's where cool-headed, well-trained officers are needed in that place. Not these fucking hotheads in masks that think they can get away with anything, that are going to pop out of the vehicle, immediately start fucking swearing, immediately go from 0 to 100, escalate the situation, make it chaotic, make it so it's a split-second decision for everybody, and next thing you know, somebody's shot in the fucking face, right? And again, there was also another report that she was a legal observer. Has anybody heard any details on that? Her intention was to observe and protect her neighbors from ICE. Okay, so Deb, I appreciate that. Good timing with that, because I had heard that also. Thank you, Dame Dog, as well. Thank you, Dame Dog, as well. I appreciate that. Good timing on that, because, yeah, that was something. Yep, a certified legal observer. Yakov, appreciate you. And again, typically those people know the law. They know the ins and outs. They know what they can get away with. They know what they have to comply with and what they don't have to comply with a lot of the time. So again, thank you guys for backing me up on that one. I really do appreciate you guys. Again, like you said, there's always somebody smarter in the chat. But just so we're up to speed on like what the actual authority is. And again, these are people that just clearly got fucking frustrated. They saw red, and it ended up in the death of a U.S. fucking citizen. That's just point blank. That's it. They don't like the protest. They don't like fucking people telling them how they feel about what they're doing all the time. They don't like people trying to impede their progress. They don't like any of it. And what they did, they snapped in this instance. They decided to fucking try to rip this lady out of her vehicle instead of just asking her to move along. And it turned out that they shot her in the face. That's it. I don't know how else you're going to fucking put it. And again, let's dive back into this. I appreciate you guys.
Is that this guy's in the hospital, which are all lies. And
I saw that too, Vincent. I saw that too. That's another thing that kind of slipped me. They let one car go around first. And I even saw, wasn't she doing like the wave around at one point, Vincent? Wasn't she like waving at some point? And I thought I did see a clip of that, but I just kind of caught a glimpse. So I didn't really have enough information to kind of throw that on the show. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought I saw a video clip of her, pretty much, waving a few cars around. Yeah, see, I thought so. I mean, which goes to show that she's, you know what I mean, even less of an impediment, even less of a danger than originally if she was, still sitting there trying to block traffic to, to a certain extent, right? Clearly, this was not an imminent threat, an imminent danger, again, even remotely close to justifying deadly use of force. That's just, it's asinine. It's fucking indefensible. It's ridiculous to think so. You pulled up at a fucking car meet, right? The kids are revving their engines, and because one of the engines backfired and you thought you were getting shot at, you started fucking popping. That's basically what happened.
It's a George Floyd moment. This administration has gone too far. They are breaking every aspect of our country, and now they're shooting people. These little dick energy ICE agents that are recruited by
Oh,
these
that's
broken.
terrible, Laurie. I haven't seen too much on the background yet. That's terrible. Laurie says her husband passed away in 2023. She had like 5 kids. The youngest is 6. Her kids are now orphans thanks to that asshole. Again, if that's true, that's fucking unbelievably terrible and awful. I would have no doubt that she's left obviously family behind, but I haven't seen anything specific. So again, if that's the case, that's just fucking terrible. Terrible.
Basilic psychos like Kristi Noem and Donald Trump and Stephen Miller. And I want to play you guys this clip in slow motion, and I'll describe it for any of you that happen to be listening. So here she is in the car. There's ICE agents surrounding the car.
Right. Now look at where the guy is, right? Look at where the guy is. Clearly, what would you do? Why wouldn't he just walk over? Why wouldn't he just walk over to the side of the vehicle? Why is there even a thought in his mind right now to pull out his weapon? What is the reason to pull out the weapon? As soon as they start walking over, it's clear to them, or it should be clear to them, that she's no longer going to sit there because she actually puts it in reverse. Right? As soon as they get out of the car and you can tell they're being aggressive, right? She puts it in reverse, and all they had to do was be like, okay, step back, let her get out of the way. She's out of my fucking hair. We don't have to deal with her anymore. It would have been plenty good enough to de-escalate that situation.
Aspect of our country, and now they're shooting people. These broken tribe. For any of you that happen to be listening. So here,
I mean, they have it spliced here at a certain point, but if you go back and look at the full clip, which we can right here, I'll throw this on. But watch the moment they got out of the vehicle. Watch when the backup lights go on. Watch when the reverse lights go on. Right, that's what I want you to watch. Watch the reverse lights. I'll get out of your way so you can see. Check it out. Right, reverse lights are on. Reverse lights are on. It's over. She's clearly going to move. She's either going to back up and let the traffic through, or she's going to back up and she's going to go forward and let these cars through. It's done. It's already done. She's clearly not going to stay there anymore. That's it. It's over. It's fucking done. At this moment in time, it's over. The guy in front, clear out of the way, let her move. Simple fucking procedure. On to the next case. That's all you got to do. But that's not what they did. They still went up to the front of the vehicle. And what it looks like is the shooter actually comes from this vehicle, which is the same one he leaves in. Again, a lot of the people, there's some people online trying to say, well, that's not the guy. Well, it's funny because it's the same fucking car he gets out of. I can tell you that much. And he makes his way around the front of the vehicle, right? Again, not in harm's way if he was where his vehicle was, not in harm's way if he came around the back of the vehicle, right? See how like a well-trained officer would know where to stand, how to approach a vehicle, to not fucking instigate a situation like this, to not make it so he's either behind or in front of the vehicle. What would have been good is for him to just stay right where he is, to also cover the other side of the vehicle. If they really thought it was a threat, if they really thought it was a danger, what the fuck are you walking in front of the vehicle for? What the fuck are you doing that for? No, because you went into that situation with the thought that they were going to rip this woman out of the vehicle. They were not going to let her leave. And that's why he walked in fucking front of the vehicle. But even then, let's take a look at how it progresses, and let's look at where he is when he pulls the fucking gun out.
No!
Right? Aggressive actions. Now the reverse is off. Right now, watch the fucking tires. Watch the tires. Tires are now moving all the way to the right. Okay, guns drawn, but no shots are fired yet. You can clearly see 1, 2 feet here. I'll go on this screen so you can see my mouse. So you got 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot behind here. How in God's fucking name of geometry and all that is fucking holy in reality, can you see 4 fucking feet? And again, we'll go on just a second here. Okay, so there's 4 feet. 4 feet. 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, right? How the fuck are you going to tell me that you can see 4 feet on this side of the vehicle, but he's in front of the vehicle? Who's going to, how does that fucking geometry work? How does that work? Please, somebody explain that to me. And again, as I press play, you'll hear the first shot fired. Ready? Shot fired. Now look at him. Where's he standing now? Still firing. And who knows? Maybe it wasn't the first shot that killed the lady. Maybe it wasn't the second shot that killed the lady. Maybe it was the fucking third shot that killed the lady, that killed fucking Renee Nicole Good, 37, who obviously left behind family members. That shot definitely came from the fucking side of the vehicle. I can tell you that much. Ain't no fucking disputing that much. Ain't no fucking disputing that. Hand straight out with the gun, side of the vehicle. I mean, how do you dispute that? How the fuck can you possibly dispute that? What's on the screen right now? The guy's got his hands extended to the side of the fucking vehicle, right? And you bring it back. You can bring it back, right? Guns out. Now, right here, 4 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see his 2 feet are together in the background right here, clearly on the side of the vehicle, and then you'll hear the shots. So please, somebody explain to me how the fuck that situation could have possibly resulted in deadly force. Could have been handled any fucking worse. Could have been handled any fucking worse. If you paid dumbass fucking people to go into a situation like this and handle it as fucking piss poor as humanly possible and to create the most carnage. I mean, not only that, but did you see the fucking dickhead that was so fucking surprised by the gunshots it literally threw him off his feet? Look at the left side of your screen. Watch the left side of your screen. They're so fucking scared. This guy jumps out of his shoes. This guy's quite literally on the fucking ground. Like he jumps like 2 feet in the air. Like watch it again. Watch it again. This guy is scared out of his shitlings.
No!
Ready? Watch. Yeah. Oh. And this guy fucking Jesus. He damn near fucking just came from the sky. He just fell out of Jesus's lap. I think this motherfucker. He just got so nervous.
Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
And again, I want to see if I can find some. Let me see if I can find some of the post video from that, and we can actually take a look at the lack of medical attention afforded to, afforded to Renee in this instance. Let me see. I know I've clicked on a ton of video since, but let me just see if I can find, because there is a couple of these that show the direct aftermath, and I'm not sure. Let's see here. My apologies. Give me a second if I may. Was it this one? Yeah, here we go. Let me throw this on the screen.
Very quickly, we're going to try to get to a point where we can maybe slow this down and show you.
Okay.
And after you hear.
Oh, here's the aftermath. Here's the aftermath, and here's the video that I was making. Let me see if you can see what I'm seeing. Yes, you can. You can see what I'm seeing. This is the guy right in front of your screen right now is the guy that shot. This is the guy that shot the woman, right? So the accident just fucking happened. The accident has just fucking happened. This guy This guy followed the vehicle to where it fucking came to its rest, came to its final destination. And this is his response to what he sees in the front there. This is his response. Check this out. Check this out. And tell me if this is a normal, everyday reaction from somebody that just used deadly force in the middle of a fucking, in the middle of a street in broad daylight.
You hear the shots, it veers off into that parked car on the side of the street. Kristi Noem also
calling
issued
somebody.
a
What is that? His
statement
cell
today,
phone? Hold on. What was that? His cell phone?
Veers off into that parked car on the side of the
He's
street.
looking at his fucking cell phone. He's already worried about that.
Kristi Noem
and then he
also
makes a signal like, "Hey, somebody come get me."
Issued a statement today, and I don't know if we can put it up on the.
Yep, there's the car. Yep, let's get the fuck out of here. He says, "Let's get the fuck out of here." He literally just witnessed a dead woman, possibly not even dead yet, in the fucking vehicle that he just fired 3 shots into? Excuse me if I'm getting that. I think it's 3 shots.
On the ground.
But watch this.
Again, that is the perspective from behind, and we've watched it several times. So again, that vehicle.
And not to mention, I'll address these fucking clowns that are talking in the background on live now too, because they go on to read a statement from Kristi Noem, whatever the fuck her name is, and it literally goes in direct contravention, flies directly in the face of everything that they literally just showed on their fucking program. And they make absolutely no fucking distinction. They make no corrections, nothing to say, well, that's not what we saw. That looks like fucking bullshit to me. Nothing. So, but check this out again. The guy that shot the woman follows the car down. And this is the reaction right after.
It's parked in the street. We don't know for how long, though. And it was at an angle. And we know that ICE agents then approached that vehicle, and then the vehicle started to take off. Then after.
So here he is right here.
Here's
the guy. Just went over. You can see other fucking people trying to show up. Here's the ICE officers. More officers uninterested in what the fuck happened. This guy looks like a civilian running over. Nobody else. Everybody's just walking nonchalantly. Yep, this guy's got his fucking hands in his jacket still because his hands are fucking fifis. He's got his fucking fifis are getting cold, right? This guy fucking, you can't see who he is. They're all masked up. Nobody's fucking caring whatsoever.
Kristi Noem also issued a statement today. And
here, listen to the statement that they issue. Here's the statement. They read the statement, the one that we just saw and listened to Kristi Noem make, or whatever the fuck her name is. We listened to her make with her cowboy hat on. but they go to play it and they make no corrections, no distinctions. Listen to this bullshit.
We can put it up on the screen, but just want to give you the perspective of all.
Yep, make sure you got your mask on. Make sure your mask doesn't fall down. God forbid anybody gets to identify you after you just shot a woman in the face.
Reactions that are coming in.
Is he limping? Doesn't look like to be limping. I mean, if he just he escaped barely with his life, ladies and gentlemen, as Donald Trump would have you believe. Just barely escaped with his life, but he's walking a fucking 5K away from the scene of the crime.
Also issued a statement today, and I don't know if we can put it
up. Couldn't be going any faster, the fat fuck. It's the fastest he's moved in about 13 years. Look at this.
On the screen.
Yep, let's roll. Let's roll, he says. Yep, because somebody's dead right there. The car's quite literally still running. The blood's still seeping from her fucking forehead. But hey, can somebody get me out of here, please? Somebody, can we roll? And you'll see he gets in if they don't cut it off. He gets in that same gold, Tahoe Suburban type of vehicle that he was in that we saw him get out to begin with. Check it out.
But just want to give you the perspective of all the different reactions that are coming in.
There it is right there. As you can see, here's the same one that we were, behind the vehicle looking at the opposite angle before. And watch what he hangs around.
Of this shooting this morning.
And again, is anybody moving with urgency? I mean, it was such a fucking impediment. It was so imperative to get this lady out of the way because everything that they needed to do was so fucking important. Well, now they shot her in the face, got her out of the way. Is anybody moving with passion? Is anybody moving with purpose? No, this guy's quite literally walking away from where he should be performing fucking CPR or fucking life-saving, medical support if possible, which is supposed to be the next step, right? Of the fucking law enforcement agency, of the law enforcement officer. Once you determine that guy's no longer a threat or that woman's no longer a threat and you had to put them down, your next fucking task is to administer, life-saving aid, or at least, get the proper authorities in there or the proper people in there that could give them life-saving aid, right? That's you immediately go into fucking that next fucking step. Right? That guy was just a perp 2 seconds ago. You've just put him down. You got him in a shot with the leg or whatever the fuck happened, right? Now he's not a perp anymore. Now he's somebody that needs medical assistance. So I'm going to fucking provide that person medical assistance to the best of my ability on the way to the jail, on the way to the fuck, whatever it may be, right? But you don't just sit there and leave the person in the fucking vehicle. You don't tell everybody to get the fuck away, right? Because other people were showing up to the vehicle and there were other ICE agents. Oh, get back, get back. Well, what if they could have saved their life? You don't know. I don't fucking know. Could have very well been a possibility.
Noam saying it was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is.
Okay, so live now, you cocksucking motherfuckers. What you're reading on the fucking screen right now, what you're reading to your viewers, is that what you just showed in the video that we just watched on your fucking channel that you just played for your viewers? That statement now that you're reading, does that line up with what we just watched? And if it doesn't, don't you think you should probably call it out as such? Like, hey, that doesn't make any sense. I don't see any fucking vehicles in the snow. I know that. I definitely didn't see this woman go and ambush these fucking officers by any means. Call this shit out. It's so fucking infuriating.
They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding.
A woman attacked them. And this is what's being fucking said on the fucking, this live now news update to 157,600 people, as you can see on the screen right here in the corner, 157.6 thousand. And that is completely the opposite of what they just showed as far as the footage, as far as the fucking clips that they just showed from this specific incident, right? And again, this is the closest I see anybody get. And this is the footage that I was talking about. This person, whoever has the camera,
to run them
gets
over
about
and ram.
Everybody does. That's the fucking scene that you see. That's, believe me, it doesn't get any closer or anything more graphic than that because he immediately turns away. But nobody there giving life-saving aid. Nobody there performing any sort of fucking medical attention whatsoever. No ICE officers around. Nothing. Just fucking
them with her vehicle.
It turns around here.
An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively.
There you go. I don't know if is this an ICE officer?
Shot to protect
here he
himself.
goes. So he's trying to even back somebody away that was just trying to see if they could help. He's immediately pulling out what, bear spray or something? His pepper spray?
And the people around him. My
Here they
understanding
come, just fucking nonchalantly walking down the street.
Fucking
Don't worry about the dead person. Yep. Don't worry about the person bleeding out that you just shot.
This goes to
Scroll
show
down
the
there.
assaults that our ICE officers and law enforcement are
I mean, the fucking lack of urgency is striking. I'm sorry, is fucking alarming. The lack of the sense of urgency or fucking responsibility for what just took place is fucking alarming, and I'm sure that is something that is pervaded throughout the entire fucking ICE community. All of these dickheads. Remember that clip that we saw of the the ICE guy that was driving shit-faced with his son and thought that because he was an ICE official, an ICE officer, that he could get off and, fucking, oh, do you know who I am? Do you know who I work for? Well, I'm sure that attitude and these fucking scumbags, it permeates throughout the entire fucking agency. But yeah, I mean,
every single day.
urgency.
Again, that is Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Absolutely fucking disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. We'll go back to the IFIB lady. Sorry.
So here she is in the car. There's ICE agents surrounding the car. She backs up to get away from them. She turns her wheels all the way to the right.
Wheels cocked. Couldn't have been more cocked to the right.
Officer shoots her.
And again, he's already out of the way. You can see the first shot. He is already out of harm's way, right?
She turns her wheels all the way to the right.
Out of harm's way. He is no longer in the direct path of that vehicle. He no longer has any fucking need to be where he is. Look, ready? Still out of the harm's way.
Officer.
Still out of harm's way. Even more out of harm's way. First shot goes off.
3-4 times.
Now he's directly on the side of the vehicle. Directly on the
all
side
the way
of the vehicle.
To the right. Officer.
Shot goes off. Where is he? Both feet. You can see both of his feet through the legs of this one guy. You can see 1 foot, 2 foot. He is clearly on the side of the fucking vehicle.
Sir.
And again, she's doing about 0.0001 miles an hour at that stage. Not very difficult. It's more difficult. I can see if she was coming at him 20, 30, 40 miles an hour straight at them, right? Or she had some fucking momentum at even 10 or 15, whatever it was, and you were, 15 feet away. And it's more difficult when you're that far away to get out of that, to get away from that distance, to get out of the way, than it is if you're right up front and with a stationary object, right? Think of that. I mean, somebody could you could be on the right side of the headlight with the driver's side headlight staring you straight in the face, and you could tell somebody to gun it. And from the time you say gun it, and they actually gun it, you can just go like this and walk right to the side. And even if they did go straight, they wouldn't even fucking touch you. Unbelievable.
4 times in the face, kills her, murders her point blank, car crashes. And then Pumps read some reporting that doctors were there's a doctor on the scene that was trying to help her, and ICE agents wouldn't allow the doctor to treat her. This is the American Gestapo. This is what Stephen Miller wants. This is horrific beyond all.
But again, and I see people saying in the chat, like, oh, he's going to get away with it. And I don't think that, what the fuck does that matter? We know that people being held accountable is not something that we're likely to see with this administration. Again, especially Pam Bondi, the head of the fucking DOJ, Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, Kristi Noem, the head of the fucking the DHS, right? These are the people that are going to be fighting for their officers. Donald Trump putting pressure on different court systems and different judges and different officials. Right. So I don't understand like how we could say, even if he's not it's okay, like it's an okay act, like he was rightfully justified in using deadly force because, again, Kristi Noem and fucking Dan Bongino, not Dan Bongino, but Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, because they're not going to do the right thing, or we're not likely to see a just prosecution in this, means that it was okay. I'm not willing to accept that fucking even for a second, not even 1 second. That's crazy.
Sure. When you think about a woman was driving her car in protest of ICE, she was turning around to leave the scene, and a masked man and his goons encompassed the car.
And that's a good point. And I saw somebody bring that up earlier in the chat as well, where they mentioned that she was, and again, this is not confirmed by me by any stretch of the imagination, but I heard her kind of mention it here, the kind of turnaround aspect. Is there footage that I could show where she was kind of coming down the other end of the street and this was part of a turnaround aspect? Have you guys seen any footage like that I may have missed? Like I said, right hand up. I'm not, I'm not God here. I don't have all the answers and all the footage that I could possibly see. But is anybody, because I did see that go by in the chat earlier, and it seems like she's kind of reiterating some of the same maybe the same points there, where this was kind of like the footage that we're seeing is almost U-turn, almost mid turnaround, where she maybe have been coming down the other way of the street, saw the ICE officers, the ICE vehicles, and was in the midst of a turnaround. Because you can see what doesn't really make much sense is, how is this vehicle on the other side, right? Let me throw this back up on the screen. How is this vehicle on the other side of her, right? So how is this one? And again, is this after the footage? Is now we have to move in. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Locaire. I didn't mean to disappoint you on that one. But like, is this one of the vehicles that was allowed to pass by? I know we were referencing that earlier on in the show too. The moment in the footage, and some of the footage that you can see where some vehicles were allowed to pass by. Was this one of the vehicles? And he just came up on the other side, right? Or was he? I'm just spitballing here. I haven't seen anything to confirm or corroborate this at all. I'll be very honest and upfront. Or is this something where she was coming up this end of the street, right? She was coming down this side of the street, and this person was following. Again, I haven't seen anything to confirm. I'm just asking questions and kind of how this setup got to this point, because a lot of the footage that we see is picking up at the moment of kickoff, right, where the ICE agents leave their vehicles. But as to what was happening behind that, what happened before that, I think that would, go a long way in showing how deadly force wasn't justified in this by any stretch of the imagination, even further. You know what I mean? So again, just to kind of show that up. And I like I said, I just saw, 37 Locaira. From what I've seen, 37 years old. Renee Nicole Good. As far as the victim's name, 37. I have written down legal observer. Her intent, like I've been saying, her intent in this is pretty obviously not to, hurt or harm or fucking, kill any of these officials. Is pretty fucking obvious by looking at this. It's obviously obvious by looking at this that she put it in reverse immediately. And these ICE officials were still quite some distance, as I proved before, right? They were still quite some distance from the vehicle when the lights came on. So here you go. Here's where the reverse lights. You can see the reverse lights are on. They're still 3 feet from even getting to the vehicle to even ask her to leave. So she's already moving. She's already fucking moving, complying with what the order in this instance should be, which is just please move your vehicle. That's about the extent of what the order should be or the action should be. Please move your vehicle, ma'am. That's it. That's about as fucking aggressive as you need to be in this position. But let's see here. This might even be before they say get out of your car. So, right? So do you hear what he said there? So let's do this again, because I think this is important. Okay, so he comes out and immediately says once, get out of your car, right? He says, get out of your car, and she immediately, right here, puts it in reverse. Immediately puts it in reverse. Okay, let's end this. I'm out of here. Type of thing. Could have de-escalated at this moment in time. She's going to reverse. She's going to move. The asshole in front could have gone right back into his vehicle and said, okay, she's willing to comply. She's willing to move. Let's go on with our fucking daily business and not have to shoot anybody in the face, right? But that's not what happened. They attempted to then, as she's in motion, take her out of the vehicle.
No!
Right? No! Puts it in drive. Makes a concerted effort to turn the vehicle, knowing that this asshole's walking at the time in front, now on, again, the driver's side headlight, still turning the fucking wheels, and all he has to do is go, okay, let me pop over by my assistants here to get out of this fucking situation that I know I probably shouldn't be in, and let me not draw my weapon to shoot this lady in the face. Probably another thought. Shit! And again, clearly on the side at the moment the first shot is fired. I don't care what anybody fucking says. I don't care what nobody fucking says. My eyes are here. I'm looking at it. I can see it. Here's 2 feet right next to each other. He's actually fucking parallel with the vehicle at this moment in time. And you can see these other 2 assholes clearly in no fucking danger whatsoever. And if anything, him shooting through the vehicle puts more people in danger on the other side, where we got more footage from, where we clearly know people are standing and we're lucky not to get shot through the fucking vehicle with the ricochet. God damn it. All right, let's see if we can finish this. My apologies. I know I'm derailing all the time, but this fucking really gets to me.
And he took a pistol and put it in her face and shot her more than once. And then they would not allow a doctor on scene to care for her. And she died in the United States of America. It's so
Oops, sorry. My apologies.
Stunning. It took me about an hour to just process this really happened. This is what's going on. And then following it up with the lies and the propaganda. If this isn't a clear screenshot of what's actually happening, believe it with your eyes. It's on video. And then the propaganda machine that is the Trump administration. This is the clearest example that I have seen, because they are lying to our faces, which we have suspected about, all of these Tyler Robinson shooting of Charlie Kirk, his murderer, that at the Dallas immigration facility. Now we see it with our own eyes. They are absolutely willing to lie to cover their ass. They don't give a shit that a 37-year-old American woman was murdered by them.
And that comment, guys, goes right in line with what we showed you here, like this type of stuff, right? Remember this? In case you joined us late in the show, here's some more instances, and we'll go by these, and then we'll get to thank everybody for joining us here on this evening's program. But here's just more instances, more examples of how this easily could have gone wrong much sooner than this, and how this probably isn't the last time we're going to experience something like this, considering the amount of times we see reckless behavior like this.
Put the gun away! We gotta shoot people!
Okay, so what you see there is a clear example of an ICE official, an ICE officer, right, clearly pointing his weapon at innocent bystanders, civilians just sitting there recording him, blowing whistles, telling him he sucks, he's fat, which is all true. I don't understand why he'd be pissed off about that. He should probably recognize that at some point. I mean, he could probably see his reflection in the car, right? But this is him clearly pointing his weapon. Here's another one, right, that we looked at. Here's another instance. What if this discharged? Here's a clear example of an ICE official or DHS or whatever they want to call themselves, affiliated with this fucking, this Gestapo tactic, the Gestapo regime that is now undertaken and infiltrated our country. There's a fat prick here, once again, pointing his gun at innocent bystanders. Here's another one that you could look at where he's just clearly standing in traffic. Let me see if I can get it. Here you go. He's here standing in traffic, holding a weapon.
Location is Shelton and Santa Ana Boulevard.
Right. So again, at what point do we say this is just a matter of time? Exactly as this guy on the screen now is commenting on their podcast. It was only a matter of time, unfortunately. And Willie King, 9873, couldn't have been more fucking spot on. Because there's only so many times that you're going to see these people point guns. There's only so many times that these fucking reckless people can act in reckless ways with reckless behavior and expect nobody to be hurt by it. And again, the reaction that you've seen from some of the protests here, like this one, is only going to continue to fester, right? This is only going to continue to pop up and spring up in different places. The more these actions are seen, and the more fucking snowballs and the more rocks and the more fireworks and the more shit and piss that's going to be thrown on DHS and ICE officials. And I fucking hopefully see the American people rise up in a way that we haven't seen in a long time to combat this bullshit. Because that's exactly what's needed in this moment in time, is protests just like this, is anger, just like we're seeing expressed now by people in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and more particularly, and people all over the country, where now ICE and DHS has now infiltrated the population of the society and is ripping people out of their homes and out of their work and out of their schools and out of fucking courts and emergency rooms, right? In courtrooms where they're trying to do the legal right thing. So, again, none of these things are going to do anything to quell the unrest. None of these actions, none of the lies, none of the propaganda, none of the bullshit trying to justify acts like this is going to do anything to quell the unrest. And unfortunately, the more that they're willing to justify and defend these actions, and the more they're willing to prosecute these, extrajudicious killings on the fucking side of the road, then the more shit's going to kick off. And it's unfortunate that we're here. I wish we weren't here, but that's the fucking unfortunate reality that we face right now. So, that's my 2 cents on the matter. I don't think there's any way in fucking God's name you could justify this shit. I don't see how you could look at that, look at the situation, look at it on a broad and general perspective and say that deadly force should have been any fucking where near that situation or thought about, never mind enacted. Not to mention the response or lack thereof by not allowing medical treatment. Right? The just kind of strolling around, the lack of urgency, the fucking fat bastard that shot her quite literally as soon as that happened, getting the fuck off the scene. Is that normal? Is that normal policy? Or are they required to stay on the scene for quite some time to give their initial statement, to take fucking facts and figures and details and pictures to make sure that everything is corroborated? I don't think, hey, get me the fuck out of here is a natural response to somebody that thinks that they just used, correct deadly force, which obviously is a fucking far cry from what we just saw. So I apologize. Thank you guys for sticking with me throughout the show. I feel like it was another great show. Let me see if I can get into thanking some people on the old Venmo machines, and then we'll thank some people here on the old YouTube machines. Very much appreciate you guys for contributing to the show. Before I forget, we do have the Zooms. Oh, I don't know if I have them uploaded. That's my fault. But if they're not uploaded, I do have the Zoom dates for January. So tomorrow, sorry for the late notice, but tomorrow the 8th is going to be the general Zoom. And then on the 12th, we're going to have the VIP Zoom. So everybody sign up at patreon.com/BostonBrian. Make sure you're looking out for that link tomorrow for the general. I'll be sending that out on the Patreon website. And then on the 12th, if you sign up at the VIP level, that'll get you access to that. Quite literally the only thing that that requires you to come out of pocket for any access, and it's not even content. It's just to kind of shoot the shit and talk about pets and weather and shit like that. So it's just a great way to help the show, the backbone of the community, the Patreon, the YouTube members, people that continuously contribute through Venmo, PayPal, whatever it is. I can't thank you enough. It's extremely important now more than ever that you guys find it in your hearts to support the channel. Sooner rather than later, you'll be filled in with some news. But, until then, I would just kind of implore you to, if you have the time, the financial ability, the capability to donate to the channel, $1 or $2 is all I ask for. It goes a long way. Now is the most important time to get that into the channel. So thank you so much. Let's see if we can thank some fabulous and fine people here. So from earlier, it was Christopher. Thank you so much. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Teague, Claudia, and Christopher again. Really do appreciate you guys. Let's see if we can hop over here to the Ubes of 2 and see who donated. What's up, Mike? What's up, my brother? Good to see you, man. Hope you're well. Thank you so much for the contributions. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Alvin, as well, for being here for 10 months. Trump will plunge Venezuela into civil war. Yeah, in case, I didn't get the opportunity. I know we ran out of time, but I did want to throw this on the screen maybe one more time to just drill this home and to say, hey, I kind of told you so. Because again, the Republicans that were using the celebratory mood of some of the Venezuelans as, again, justification for the acts of the Trump administration, not again foreseeing the future and not realizing that the removal of the leader is just one step in about 1 trillion different steps that need to happen in order to accurately and to a good extent actually take over a fucking country, run a different country, and actually do it to establish it for the benefit of the Venezuelan people. Not something that the United States has really proven in the past that they're able to undertake, right? And again, we've gone off half-cocked once again, but this is just one of the Washington Post articles that I saw kind of justifying and confirming the fears that I have for the Venezuelan people, in which says, hey, be careful of what you wish for. Sometimes the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't know. And it seems like that's what's going on. And to a large extent, it looks like the Trump administration just kind of replaced Maduro with another more psychotic Maduro regime. In that these people are already dealing with backlash. As you can see, fear grips Caracas as new wave of repression is unleashed in Venezuela. Venezuela's government launched a far-reaching crackdown after Maduro's ousting, detaining journalists and civilians and sending armed gangs to the streets. So exactly what we called for, exactly what we thought would happen, the destabilization of a nation and the bad actors that usually prey upon that destabilization of a nation have come out already. So again, maybe we'll get into this on tomorrow's show. This might give us the time that it should be afforded to kind of get into the details of this, to kind of make sure that we drill home. Nobody is saying, oh, thank you, Candy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll be right with you guys on YouTube. Yeah, just to kind of reiterate the, how Donald Trump loves to say that there was no casualties. Meanwhile, there's at least 100 people that have been killed in the attack, civilians, 80-year-old grandmothers and such. How they're talking about everything's running smoothly. Meanwhile, there's been fucking a wave of repression unleashed on the streets of Caracas. How they said they got rid of Maduro, but seemingly aren't willing to recognize that it's Maduro's successor and one of Maduro's longtime allies, and somebody probably just as, if not even more powerful now because of the controlling of the oil riches, because of the controlling of the energy industry, that they've put her in. Now what spot are we in? And again, that bring in the reporting of the oil companies not really looking to go down to Venezuela anytime soon, the way that Donald Trump wants you to believe they are. And again, this is just a big fucking mess, and it's going to continue to be a mess. All right, so let me dive into these super chats. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Bicycle Mike. Thank you, Greg. Late to the stream, but thanks for not whitewashing it. Again, these are just my honest opinions. I know there's probably going to be people that have much different takes on the matter for whatever reason, based on the history or, some affiliation with somebody in their family, whatever it is. Again, I'm just giving you my honest opinions based on my beliefs, what I saw with my own two eyes, what I know this regime to be capable of, the instructions that I know they've given these fucking people, the recruiting tactics that I know they've used, like this, right? We put this on the screen too, in case you joined us late. This is just, the Department of Homeland Security using white nationalist imagery and language to recruit new employees. This is by the, what was this? I should know this. The Learning Center for Justice Civil Rights Memorial Center, talking about the different recruitment ads by the Homeland Security that they've put out on Twitter and how they're actively going after a specific targeted group of people. Want to deport illegals with your absolute boys? Here, check this out. I mean, who do you think that's going after? The chuds, the Brad and Chads that love their guns, the Groypas that want to get out there and just beat brown people, right? So they're talking about this luxury van and how they could get out there, and think of how many criminal illegals you could fit into this bad boy. And here it says, the Ford luxury van overlaid with the caption, want to deport illegals with your absolute boys, right? You should, after a hard day of deporting illegals, sir, be able to kick back with your boys and laugh about what you just accomplished, is what it says here. And you're telling me that they're not going after a specific group of people, and that specific group of people couldn't be, expected to act a certain way towards, again, brown or black people, or anybody trying to help a brown or black person? And that's exactly what we're seeing today. So this isn't something new. We've seen the wielding of the guns, the reckless behavior. Now we can talk about the tactics, the recruiting tactics of the fucking Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and everybody else pardoned after January 6th. And it all goes into leading to this one fucking moment in these actions perpetrated by these assholes. So thank you, Greg. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you once again. Is it true Walz activated the God against ICE? I haven't seen that. I can't confirm or deny that, but I gotta say, I feel really bad for Tim Walz. I won't have time to play it here, but I saw a little bit of his statement, and boy, does he look fucking defeated, man. He just looks, it was just low energy. And again, I only saw a portion of it, so just to kind of stipulate to that aspect, but he looked run down. He looked tired. He looked, he sounded, defeated, and, to be expected after the threats that he and his family have been receiving after what was perpetrated by Nick Shirley and the rest of these assholes going after the Somali population, in Minnesota, not to mention the politicians that were killed that were close to him. His daughter had to kind of take time off of social media because of the threats that she was receiving. So I'm not faulting him by any stretch of the imagination. So don't get it twisted. It just, I felt bad. You could see that, it's gotten to him, whether it's the ongoing pressure of, again, the thought of, the politicians that had just died, the politicians that were just killed, him being also included on that list. And it could have been potentially, 10 times worse that night. All of it, I'm sure, is weighing heavily upon him. And we know that he just kind of, not kind of, but, took his name out of the race for the governorship there. But again, it was sad to see. I haven't seen anything to answer your question specifically about activating the National Guard. Let me hop over to you guys. Is that something that you guys have heard as far as activating the National Guard? I'm not seeing anything kind of confirming or denying that just yet. People in Minneapolis, let's see here. People in Minneapolis are in the streets. Yep, we took that. Only called if you get violent or destructive. So I'm just kind of curious if anybody can back up or corroborate that kind of reporting that they had. I'd be surprised. The only reason I say that, because we did hear Kristi Noem say that she had spoken to Tim Walz in one of the reports. So I'm sure that she probably would have announced that if that was something he said he was intending to do. But again, I haven't seen it reported one way or the other to confirm or deny. Greg, my apologies on that one. Linda Lou, how are you, dear? Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much Thank you. I don't know why I said thank you, but thank you so much for stopping by here and checking it out. Thank you so much for affording me the opportunity to present you guys the news and giving my opinions the way that I see it. I can't thank you enough. Please make sure that we're reaching out to everybody gifted memberships and thanking them for contributing to the show. We're up above, I think, about 800 memberships right now. So again, we're still trying to fight towards 1,000. We get really close, and then a lot of memberships will kind of cancel, or people won't kind of renew on some ways, and it drops a lot. So we get really close, and then we'll kind of drop back. But we are getting close once again. So thank you, Linda Lou. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, Susie, as well, being here for 1 year. Congratulations, Susie. I very much appreciate that. We appreciate your passion and your support here at Blunt Politics. We really do. Love you, Brian. And Briantologist, he says, right back at you, Susie. Thank you so much. Mimi, how are you, Mimi? Good to see you. I don't even know what to say. I know it's disheartening. It really is. And again, it was just a matter of time, as that commenter said on the I've Had It podcast. But thank you, Mimi, for your contributions. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for putting in the 10, even though you don't know what to say, and trying to help out independent creators. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Candy, as well, for the $20 super chat. ICE is everywhere. They are not trained in proper firearms use or de-escalation. We need to help each other as much as we can. Absolutely, and that's kind of the points that I was making during the show. Properly trained officers would know how to go into a situation to de-escalate that, to make it so that, again, deadly force is not even a fucking remote thought or a possibility in that situation, considering what we were facing. If you step back and you look at it from the fucking 30-foot view, right, what are we facing? Okay, somebody in the middle of this road, they want to get by. Let's try to get her to move. That's the fucking gist of the situation. That's it. So you're 100% right, Candy, and we absolutely do need to fucking have each other's backs. Thank you, moms, so much. I appreciate you for the $2 tithing. Thank you so much. Good to see you. I hope you're well. Thank you for being here. We very much appreciate you. That goes for Wes as well. Thank you for the Ray Bork. You have the right to remain silent. All you need to say is, I want to speak with my attorney. Always good advice. Always good advice. I don't know how it pertains in this situation, because as a legal observer, one would have to believe she knew what rights were afforded to her in that situation. But I'm sure that will remain to be determined. So, Wes, thank you so much for the Ray Borg. Very much appreciate your opinions, brother. Married to a Maggot says, damn, that's tough. That's tough. Even putting it in your screen name, too. Even put it in your screen name. Goddamn. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Thanks for providing a safe community for us while we process all of the horror going on in the world. Well, that's just amazing. I very much appreciate that comment. I do. As much as I say I appreciate things, and I truly do, that is very much appreciated, for thinking or for feeling like I can provide a safe place and a safe community for people to congregate and meet with like-minded people and get their ideas and opinions out there without fear of retribution or bigotry or hatred. Then I'm very proud of the community that we've built here. So, Married to a Maggot, thank you so much for bringing that up. Thank you so much for for sharing that with all of us, and thank you so much for your support. And we very much appreciate that. So thank you. Candy, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, you guys are just fucking incredible. You really are. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. That is absolutely incredible. Please make sure we're thanking Candy for all of her fine and really helpful contributions to the channel. 20 gifted memberships. That's just amazing. Please make sure we're saying thank you. Again, Candy, thank you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Sorry for the reporting that we had to come out with, but again, thank you for affording me the ability and the opportunity to bring you that reporting. So I appreciate it. I know you guys have a lot of places that you could be. There's a lot of different great creators that you could get this information from and opinions from. And I can't thank you guys enough for stopping here, for even as long as you do stop here and checking me out and giving me the opportunity. So it means a lot. Thank you, Laurie, as well. Excuse me as I chew on a dog here. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Sorry, I missed earlier. She has a 6-year-old. She has a 6-year-old, not 5 kids, but she was widowed in 2023. Well, thank you so much for the correction. As I like to say, I want to be as factual as possible. Again, doesn't make it any less tragic in my eyes. Again, leaving any children behind, leaving behind any family member in that instance is going to make it as horrible as it could possibly be. But again, in this instance, to have a 6-year-old now obviously being orphaned at this stage it just makes it 10 times worse. So I appreciate the correction, Laurie. I appreciate you, correcting us and bringing us the updates. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That goes for Paul as well. Governor Walz issues a warning order to prepare to maybe have to activate. Let me read that again. Governor Walz issues a warning order to prepare to maybe have to activate. All right, let me see here. See if we can get the latest skinny. I'll just do Tim Wallace and see what the news brings us. See what the news brings us. All right, let me throw this on the screen just so you guys can flip through it with me, see if we can see anything together. Walsh prepares National Guard after woman killed in ICE operation. Never been at war with federal government. All right, so there is definitely some accuracy to the reporting that you guys were talking about. Walsh issues warning order to Minnesota National Guard after fatal ICE shooting. Let's see what that warning was, if we can. Does it tell us what the warning was? Minnesota, I'll make this a little bigger on your screen. Maybe a little too bigger on your screen. How's that? Get this out of here. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident, but we love this state, Walt said at a Wednesday press conference. We won't let them tear us apart, but we will not turn against each other. Let's see here. To Minnesotans on the National Guard, they're there to protect you and protect your constitutional rights. These are our neighborhoods. They don't wear masks. They don't bust in from somewhere else. They're not here to cause hassles to you or what we saw today, the tragedy. In addition to readying the state's National Guard, the governor said that the State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is investigating the incident where masked agents were recorded approaching a vehicle in the middle of the Minneapolis street, and an agent then fired shots into the car after it accelerated. Walsh also said he activated the State Emergency Operations Center and members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. From here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Excuse me, I think I said DHS. That's my apologies earlier if I misspoke on that one. Kristi Noem, you've done enough. The governor called on Americans to come together to confront the Trump administration's immigration crackdown in the cities across the country. To Americans who are watching this, if you're in Portland, if you're in LA, or you're in Chicago, or you're wherever they're coming next, stand with us, Walt said. Stand with us against this. So again, just to finish the show out with some accurate reporting, because I know we've kind of been curious about that. So we wanted to make sure. Thank you, Paul, for bringing that to my attention. Thank you for everybody else. Kenny, is that another 20? Oh my goodness. Jesus criminy. I very much appreciate that. That's incredible of you. That's incredible. I really do appreciate that. 40 total gifted memberships is just unbelievable. So thank you so much. I very much appreciate you. I'm sorry I'm keeping you guys longer, but I can't thank you guys enough. And then to round that out tonight is going to be Mark. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Mark. Mark says, only us turning out to vote for democracy and justice in record numbers, election after election, can truly fix this. And that's absolutely true, unfortunately. That's absolutely true, because guess what? It was people not turning out to vote, and it was people not turning out for democracy for quite some time that got us in this position. And the same thing that Ken Casey was saying today and that I was reiterating, this is not going to be, all of a sudden the light's going to go out and we're going to go back to normal, right? Donald Trump can pass away. Donald Trump can take his last breath on this earth, but that doesn't mean the MAGA way of life, the MAGA philosophy, and these bigoted, homophobic, racist motherfuckers are going to just go back into their cellars, into their little holes that they've dug somewhere. We're going to have to fight this for quite some time. And unfortunately, it was a slow burn getting here, and it's going to have to be a slow burn getting us out of here. And that is absolutely one of the ways to do that. Just continue to turn out for democracy. Vote for the correct people. Vote for the people that have you and your best interests at heart. Vote for the people that aren't accepting fucking shady money behind the scenes from foreign PACs, from foreign actors, from foreign dealers, right? The people that say and vote the way they say they're going to do and the way they say they're going to vote. Find those people, elevate those people. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for another great show. Again, my apologies on the content, the subject of the content tonight. But again, we always knew everything crazy. Oh, we got more people. Sorry, JD. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I saw one more. Oh, Jesus, criminy candy. I'm running out of words. I'm running out of fucking words. I can't even thank you so much. That's 50 gifted memberships tonight. Candy, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And I can't thank you guys enough for, finding this place a safe and comforting community where you can come in and kind of, lay it all out in the line and, be vulnerable and not have that backlash. We have fantastic mods here. I've been blessed with the most and the best mods you could possibly ask for and the best chat out of any community on fucking social media. So I've been very lucky in that regard. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Zoom. Again, tomorrow night, January 8th, we're going to have the Gen Pop Zoom. I don't know if that's what we call it, but that's what I came up with in my head right there. And then on the 12th is the VIP. So I'll check you out there. I'll see you tomorrow on the show. Make sure you're hitting that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Boston Brian. I'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, 2 p.m. on the East Coast, 11 a.m. here on the West Coast. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks, mods. Thank you, chat. I'll throw you guys up on there on the screen on the way out so everybody can see how awesome you guys are. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Candy, again. Amazing night. Really, really generous. Can't thank you enough. Goes a long way in helping the show, especially at this difficult time. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you. Peace. Thank you so much again, Candy. I can't thank you enough. That's amazing. Everything that you did tonight. Everybody was really, really generous. Thank you so much. Thank you, Candy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. God bless the United States. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means? Acclimated. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means? Acclimated. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means? Acclimated. We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat. Obama. He says, rectum damn near killed him. When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.
All right. Just wanted to come say that I love you guys even more, and I appreciate you even more. And I totally meant to come back on, and that this is not an accident at all by any means. I totally meant to do this. Take two. You just couldn't let it slide. You just couldn't let it slide. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Fucking Nazis.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.
Thanks, Dad. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for all the support. Thank you, Kel, Tim, Mom, everybody else. I love you guys. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Peace out, guys.